It's not so bad, right? Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Rebecca. Today I'm going to talk about rosacea, or any kind of redness, any kind of irritation to your skin. And I wanted to let you know what I've been doing. I've had this for 20 years, and this is not medical advice. I am not any kind of medical practitioner, doctor, esthetician, dermatologist, or any of that. Do seek medical attention. Get expert diagnoses if you think you are struggling from any kind of skin disorder symptoms. I feel like we talk more about it now than we did 20 years ago. I feel like more people have it, whether it's because we now know more about it and it's kind of the same amount of people experiencing it, or people see that their skin turns red and they assume they have rosacea. And I want to tell you what I've been doing because it's changed. It's evolved, and I think for the better. I also want to let people know out there, because I think when you're experiencing a flare-up, when something in your system has changed and all of a sudden you're experiencing symptoms of rosacea, it's very upsetting. It's just it's like acne, it's like anything else that it really just kind of plagues. You know, it's out there for everyone to see. Sometimes it can be painful. So if you happen to Google and you find this, then I hope this just helps, like we're chatting. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I hope you get from this something to give you to take steps. So what is rosacea? That is, you know, let's go there. It's a dermatological, is it a disorder? Is it a disease? You know, that's a good question. Let's call it a skin condition. And I'm on the Mayo Clinic's website for accuracy, and this was updated in October 2023. If you Google rosacea, mostly skincare companies come up, and they're trying to sell you products that will soothe your symptoms. So I wanted to go and talk about first what it actually is. So it is just a common skin condition that causes flushing and redness, okay? Now, in some cases, it can cause pus-filled bumps. It can look like it can be enlarged blood vessels. Sometimes broken capillaries really seem to become apparent. And it can go for months, it can go for days, it can go for years. Some things go away on their own. Sometimes we don't know what happens in our lives, in our medical situation to change. It can be environmental, it can be internal, there's no cure. And in a way, it's kind of mysterious. Like, they don't really know what causes it. There is discussion about bugs, these dermadex something or other. Now listen, I have an actual kind of I get the heebie-jeebies when it comes to stuff like that. So I don't typically Google that kind of thing. I don't want to have that come up. I don't want to show you images of anything like that. I'm not going to go look in a microscope. I don't want to see it. But I will say that it is common knowledge by any biologist out there that we have bugs on us. We have microscopic bugs, we have microorganisms, we have all kinds of things on us that we cannot see, and they are there for a reason. Some are good, some are bad. And I'm not going to freak out because, oh my gosh, we have bugs in our eyebrows and that's what leads to rosacea. Okay, let's not do that. For me, I look at rosacea as a skin barrier issue. So something has compromised your skin barrier. It can be mistaken for acne, dermatitis, probably eczema, and some other stuff too. What they recommend is avoiding the things that trigger you. But if you're new to rosacea and you don't know what your triggers are, because you feel like you've done nothing different, and then all of a sudden your skin is acting differently, that can be hard, that can be confusing and upsetting, and that's what I sort of want to talk about. Now, You can get swollen bumps, veins, you can get eye problems. My husband has ocular rosacea, so he gets actual breakouts around his eyelids. All backgrounds, all shades of skin. A black person can get rosacea, a white person can get rosacea. It can be genetic, it can be a hygiene thing, it can be an immune thing. I had terrible acne when I was pregnant with my daughter, and that was in 1999. I just got like this hormonal acne. Fast forward to 2003 when my son was born. I kept having these, I have a little bit, I'm not wearing makeup today so you can see my skin. I do have a little bit of texture. I've got something going on. I call it a flare when I get a couple bumps. My skin has been maintained to about this. This is like a good skin day for me, minus a couple bumps. Going back again to 2003, so my son is born, I'm taking care of a preschooler and an infant, and all of a sudden I'm like, what is going on with my cheeks? They're just constantly red, they're bumpy. It's like I've got this now postpartum acne. So I thought. So I went for my annual skin check for my moles, and my dermatologist at the time was like, you have rosacea, it's not acne. And I was treating it like it was acne, meaning I was scrubbing my face, I was doing any kind of salicylic, benzoyl peroxide, like I was doing all the stuff I was just throwing at my skin, and it wasn't helping. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, what is that? And then she kind of gave me an explanation, and she gave me a prescription for a cream, so a topical ointment from the pharmacy. And I used it, and it did not do anything for my skin. It definitely made it worse. And I said, it's making it worse. And she's like, well, it's got to get worse before it gets better. So I just kept doing it for a good, 3-6 months. I don't even know. And nothing was helping. And in 2003, the internet existed. Social media didn't exist. There was no YouTube, we had blogs. I definitely went on skincare blogs. I looked up Paula's Choice. I think I did. I'm trying to think when I discovered Paula's Choice. But anyway, a lot of products out there were talking about soothing. And unfortunately, when you go down the rabbit hole of like aromatherapy or soothing ingredients, you come up with calming ingredients like lavender. So lavender, mint, essential oils, they were saying, avoid parabens, avoid all these different things that are, harsh and chemicals. And so I was literally putting essential oil on my face. I was putting lavender oil. I was putting tea tree extract. I was doing whatever I could. But honestly, it wasn't helping, and I just didn't understand. It wasn't always bad. It just kind of varied, and I thought I was doing myself some favors. I went even the high-end route, and I was using like Dior skincare, and which actually was fine. I was desperate. So whether it was something at the drugstore that said it was for rosacea, or whether it was something at Neiman Marcus that was like, oh, this is calming and gorgeous and you're gonna love it and whatever. And some things worked, some things didn't. And then it really was when I started looking up the ingredient dictionary on the Paula's Choice website. And this is not a Paula's Choice sponsored video at all. Then I realized that things like denatured alcohol, fragrance, active ingredients like lavender or any essential oil, peppermint, tea tree, those are very reactive on the skin. And so they're volatile. So what that does is, if you are having a flare, if your skin barrier is compromised, you're just exacerbating the condition. And that, once I learned that, I was like, oh. I have a video where I talk about how I cured my rosacea, or I don't know how I titled it, but I was basically talking about the different supplements I was taking and the different things I was doing, and it helped a ton. And I'm sure there's some of you out there who are like, oh my gosh, you've got to take this vitamin, you've got to do that, you've got to do that. And that's great. And yes, I mean, absolute health, your health is a very important part of your skin health. And that definitely helped me. Doesn't mean it's the only answer for everyone out there. And I'm not going to suggest any kind of supplements or any kind of dietary additions, because I just think that that's such a slippery slope. I just don't want to further that conversation going forward. So for instance, when I touch my skin, I'll put some lotion on my skin. Okay, here's eye cream, and I will get red. Watch it not. Here, I'll just put it down here. I'm putting this serum all over my face. So I flush, right? It wasn't too bad. And some things I flush more than others, and some things, but I pretty much always flush. My face, if I splash it with water and wipe it with a towel, it's going to flush. When I drink wine, alcohol flushes, if I get embarrassed, if I get a hot flash, like there's a lot of things, right? I can't be on the sun too much. If I am out in the sun too long, or if I'm not wearing the proper sunscreen or shade, I will definitely my skin gets very angry. That's why I'm wearing hats and, just making sure I'm keeping any direct sunlight off my face. And of course, I wear SPF. So it's really interesting that the things that create risk factors are you between the ages of 30 and 50? Do you have skin that burns easily in the sun? And have you ever smoked, which I haven't? Or you have a history of rosacea in your family, which I don't know if I did or didn't. I really try to keep my skincare very gentle. So any kind of AHA, any kind of actives, I have to use with caution. My recommendations and what I do is I use a lot of stuff from the drugstore. CeraVe is great. Vanacream is great. Paula's Choice, excellent. I may say something that's not very popular, but don't worry so much about sulfates, parabens, and anything else like that. Those are buzzwords, and there's things out there that make you think you're not supposed to use that. And if you know that that's a trigger for you, that of course is by all means avoid. But my thing is just look on the label, and if it says fragrance, then reconsider it, right? So if you're going through a flare-up, look at the labels of the ingredients on your products. Foundation, moisturizer, sunscreen, cleanser. If it has fragrance, maybe don't use that for now, right? Okay, something else. Denatured alcohol can be fine and also can be a trigger. So that's kind of same with fragrance, actually. Some fragrances don't bother me at all. Products with fragrance in them, I can use. Something else that is at the bottom of a lot of product ingredient decks, and that is cinnamol, linalool, and linamine. And those are preservatives for any kind of fragrance. I believe that they are derived from citrus. But the point is, those are volatile and they can upset your skin barrier. Or I should say, if your skin barrier is upset, they can trigger a reaction. So when I see those at the very bottom of a skincare or a makeup, I kind of take pause with that product. So if it's something I want to try that I've been sent in PR, I will use it and then I will monitor what's going on. And then maybe I won't use something else. That's another thing. Introduce products one at a time. If you're desperate, you're going through a flare-up, or you're just now realizing what going on with your face and you're like, I'm just gonna overhaul my whole routine. Definitely take stock and inventory in what you've got, but you know, less is best in this case. So if you throw at your face a whole bunch of stuff, you might not know what is actually the thing that may or may not be working. And I look at it like when you have a baby and that baby becomes 6 months and older, and then you start introducing things like the oatmeal, then, you know, you go through the foods and it's like the orange foods first and then the green, and then, you know, you're starting with the pureed stuff. Think of your skin like that. So the reason we do that for babies is because we don't want to burden their digestion, and we want to see if, obviously, if they have any allergies, and we want to see that everything is kind of working for them. Solid foods are, you know, the introduction of solid foods to a human is kind of, you know, it's a big deal, right? If your skin is being introduced to something, but like 4 things all at once, you're not going to, and then you have a reaction, you're not going to know which one what it was. And it could be all 4, or it could be just one of them. Something else, be a little bit more conscientious and vigilant about what you're using around you, whether it's the towel you use to dry your face at night, or your pillowcase, or the towel that you wrap your hair up, because maybe do you wipe your face before you wrap your hair up? And is there maybe some kind of residue on that towel from hair product? You know, think about those kinds of things. Do you put your body lotion on and then you put on something to your face, but maybe something about your body lotion has like fragrance and you just introduce that to your skin? So I like to just be really aware of what I am touching to my face, whether it's your makeup brushes. You know, that's why when people were getting maskne, it's like, oh yeah, right? So it's because of what's being in contact with your skin on a regular basis. So I already mentioned cleansers. CeraVe is great. La Roche-Posay is great. Just about everything from their line, there's 1 or 2 items that do either, that have like a fragrance component. And I say that's because Europeans enjoy fragrance in their products. As far as sunscreen, you guys know I love my dermatology. A new sunscreen that I have been introduced to, and I did a sponsored Instagram post for them, is the My Day Screen. And I have this little mini here, which is great. You can, but this is also a mineral sunscreen. It's tinted. It has a light vanilla scent. And it is, I don't think it's reactive to my skin. It's a very lovely, mineral sunscreen that just is thin and blends in and doesn't leave a white cast. So there you go. There you go. You are interested in things that are a little bit more like, what could you do if you have had a severe reaction or you don't seem to be getting any results? PL treatments also help with rosacea, and there is usually a system of them. Like you'll do maybe like a series of 4, and they feel like, you know, you're getting a rubber band slapped against your face. But that's an intense pulse light. It's not a laser. It's a light that is just helping with it. You can get IPL for hair removal, for dark spot removal, for acne/rosacea. It can help your broken capillaries. So yeah, it's great. It's pricey, and you definitely want to do it in an office that has the board training and certification. I have a Shop My Shelf link that has basically like skincare favorites in terms of the basics when it comes to things I really enjoy for soothing, skin barrier, moisturizing that don't cause problems. And I will put that link below. And friends of mine have reached out for even their teen sons and daughters, because sometimes what we think is acne and these kids are just like rubbing on the, you know, the Oxy 10. Do they do that now? it's really adding to the problem. And so I say, oh, just take a step back. I hope that was helpful and not confusing and not too much. And now I'm going to go. And check the description box. Thank you so much. If you enjoy my content, I hope you subscribe and tell your friends. If anything about this was helpful and you know someone who could benefit from it, please share either this video or some of the links I will include in the description box. And take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.